Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute, haven't been dropping tutorials. I needed to take a break. I just felt like I was kind of burnt out and just wasn't really feeling it, but we back, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a beat for Lil Baby off of his new album It's Only Me. As usual, I'm going to break down the whole beat, including the melody, the sound selection, the drums, the mixing, and all that. The melody is a collab between myself and CuBeatz. I'm going to be putting out a kit in the near future with a bunch of the collabs that I have with CuBeatz, because I have like at least 100, if not like 150 or 200 collabs. I've just been going crazy on those. The drums are all from my Slat drum kit, which I'll leave a link down below in the description for that. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment below about what you think of the new album. Let's get right into it. Alright, so as you can see, I have the sample pulled up here, and like I said, I'm going to break down everything. So I'm going to start with the sample and then go in and break down the drums. But for the sample, the first thing that I started with was this starter from CuBeatz, and as you can see, I just pitched it up 5 semitones. BPM was originally 70, and then I just doubled that, so 140, and then I took it from 140 to 138. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play what the starter sounds like. As you can see, it has different sections, so this is the first section right here. And then this is the second section right here. So yeah, it changes into like a harp melody. So yeah, that's like the main part of the sample right there. It already is like super fire. CuBeatz, you know, it's gonna slap. Alright, so the first thing that I added is just this piano from Contact. It's just a basic piano. The only thing I did was I turned the tone down a little bit to make it a little softer. And this is pretty much the only like full melody that I added to the original starter from CuBeatz. We're in C sharp minor. The root note is at C sharp. I just came up with this repetitive melody right here in the middle. And then the last thing that I did is I added these notes on top that just go back and forth between A and G sharp. As you can see in the sample, I have different parts where the actual melody of the piano is taken out, and I just have the bass note going. So the only thing I added, the effects on this piano, is this crystalline right here. I'm gonna go ahead and play what the piano sounds like. Next thing I did is I added this starter. I just took a part from an old melody and I just reversed it. So it was a string melody that I came up with, and I changed the E to also fit the sample, and I just EQ'd some of the super high end on that. But this is what that sounds like for the second part of the sample right here. Like I said, the only melody that I added to the sample really was the piano. Other than that, I have these accents down here. This first accent is from Producer Grind. I added Shaper Box to pan it back and forth. This is what that sounds like. And then for the second accent, I just have this one right here, and I don't think I added any effects. I just pitched it. The last thing I did is I just added this bass, just a one-shot bass from the Nebula one-shot pack that I dropped with 2, has a bunch of one-shots, and I followed the root note from the piano. And then for effects, I just added Decapitator, and this is what that sounds like. Alright, so the last thing that I did is I just structured it out how I wanted it with different sections, and then I have the first section with the bass and then the second section without it, and then I put all the stems at the end, and then I rendered all that out as an audio file, and then pitched sample up 2 semitones from C sharp to D sharp, and then I put it to its own mixer track and then put my usual effect chain on it. Alright, so the first thing that I do is I try to find sounds that sound good, and for this beat I used my Slat drum kit that I dropped like over a year ago, but it's still my go-to kit. It has a folder with my go-to drums and then another folder with more unique sounds, and I think it has over 150 sounds in total. I'll go ahead and leave a link down in the description for this kit if you're interested. Alright, so the first thing that I added were the hi-hats, just to get some bounce. Just triplet hi-hats, and then I have little rolls every once in a while. I'll go ahead and play what that sounds like. So the next thing that I added was the clap. But for the first one, I have this clap that's layered with a snare right here. And then I added another snare. Next thing that I added were the open hats, and I added 2 different open hats. Here's the first one. Then I have the second really simple pattern just at the beginning. Then I added a triangle. So the next thing that I added was this 808. I knew I wanted this beat to be really bouncy, so I have a lot of notes going on. I started with the root note, D sharp. I have it pitched up an octave right here, and then it follows the root note of the sample. So just like the piano, it goes down 4 semitones. And then finally, for the second part of the hook, I have a kick that comes in. This kick just fit really well with the 808, and it sounds like this. Last thing I did is I just added this riser right here. And I added this volume fader at the end so that it's kind of like an outro. Once I had all the drum sounds and the patterns that I wanted, I just arranged the beat. And as you can see, after this intro right here, I have the verse that comes in, all the drums that come in except for the kick and the open hats. And then for the second part of the verse, the kick and the open hats come in. And then I did that same thing right here for the hook. And then I literally just copied that over. So we have another verse and then another hook. And then I just have this outro right here, which is just the melody playing. And that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much how I go about making a little baby type beat. Like I said, I'll leave a link down in the description for the drum kit that I used in this video. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you took something away from the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.